Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Peacock's got your next TV obsession. It's a dark comedy called Based on a True Story.
Los Angeles couple Ava and Nathan feel like their lives are falling apart.
Ava's one ray of sunshine, immersing herself in true crime 24/7.
When a unique podcast opportunity capitalizing on America's obsession with murder arises, the couple finds themselves in over their heads.
From the Emmy Award-nominated producer of The Boys and the executive producer of Ozark, Based on a True Story stars Emmy Award nominee Kaley Cuoco and Chris Messina. Stream it now, only on Peacock. Feta cheese. I just got feta cheese from the store, and guess what I used? Instacart, Ronnie. I used Instacart.
Of course you did, because that's what we use every single time. Get what you need now on Instacart. Pay now or later with Klarna.
Instacart and Klarna make it easy to shop and pay now or later.
When you order delivery through the Instacart app or Instacart.com, you can check out with Klarna and have more flexibility to pay in a way that fits your lifestyle. Get delivery in as fast as 1 hour, or you can select a delivery window that best fits your schedule.
Shop and pay in a way that works for you. Start your cart on the Instacart app or Instacart.com today.
New customers get $20 off your first 2 orders of $80 or more per order when you pay with Klarna using code Klarna20. Terms apply. See Instacart.com or download the app for more details and to start shopping. Check out with Klarna to pay now or later. California resident loans made or arranged pursuant to a California financing law license.
So much that happens. Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens?
Well, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, the podcast for all that crap we love to talk about on the old Bravo. Hi, I'm Ronnie. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, okay? I'd like to welcome my partner, my friend, my superhero, Mr. Ben Mandelker. Hello, Benoons.
Oh, hi, Ronnie. That was so sweet. What a lovely introduction for today.
Wasn't it? You know, we have to be nice to each other today, especially because it's a sad day in the Bravo world.
It is.
Padma Lakshmi is leaving Top Chef. I don't know what I'm going to do without Padma on Top Chef. Who's going to be mean to Gail? How are we ever going to recap this show again? Are we going to recap this show again?
Is it going to happen? I was mad because also we made the choice last week, the tough choice to not recap the episode, last week's episode, because again, in case you haven't heard, we've been overloaded and we've been swapping shows on and off our schedule, and we're trying to kind of spread the love equally or reverse love. But if we had known that we'd only have 2 precious episodes of Padma left, we probably would not have swapped that one out. So I almost feel like bamboozled by Padma. I'm like anger. My sadness is taking the form of anger right now.
It goes in steps, stages, the stages of grief,
Hurt people,
Mine
hurt
are
people.
First, eating. Second, cry eating. Third, anger eating. Fourth, just dismissal eating. Like, what do you call it? Where you just pretend shit's not happening. And then my 5th stage is just eating again. And then my 6th stage is sleeping.
Just happy eating. Yeah. I ate a lot last night. I went to Korean barbecue with my family, and now I am. Wow.
Chefs.
So if I look particularly puffy on our video today, that's why, because I'm full of basically salt and oil at the moment, and it was worth every single calorie, I have to say.
Okay, well, welcome to the show, everybody. It's Top Chef Day, as you know, so we'll get into that. We are back on tour starting right now, right tonight. We are, guess where we're at? In San Diego. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay, get your asses over here if you're not here. If you're listening to this on Friday morning in San Diego, like, I didn't know they were coming to San Diego. Get your ass over to the observatory, because that's where we are right this moment.
That's where we are.
We continue the next 2 weeks. We're doing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week, next week. Whenever you're listening to this, who cares? It's June 15th is when we start. That's the Thursday.
Yeah.
That's in St. Paul, Minnesota. Then we're in Chicago. Then we're in Columbus. Those shows are going to be St. Paul. We're going to cover Real Housewives of New Jersey, the final reunion as we know it, because there will most likely be a cast change. after this season, calling it now. And so this is going to be pretty much the last time this crew is all together, as far as we know. Then the next night in Chicago, we're going to be doing Real Housewives of Orange County, which is back. And then the following night, Saturday, we'll be in Columbus, Ohio, and we are going to do our first ever Secrets Revealed episode. We're going to do Vanderpump Rules, Secrets Revealed, because you know that there's still going to be so much to talk about with all of the scandal, etc. So we're excited for that. Then the following week, we finish. We're going to be in Boston. And then the next night, we close out in Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut. That's our big finale. So go to watchwhatcrappens.com for tickets. Also, that's where you can find links to our Patreon. If you want videos, we're video pretty much every day now. So if you want videos, go to patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens. It's also where you find our bonus episodes. And if you want to watch the videos a week later for free, you can do that over at YouTube. So follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff, okay? Instagram's where we announce what shows we're doing a week before, put funny little things, little clips and all that, and TikTok as well. So join us over there. And that's enough for announcing for me. Do you have any little announcements you want to make?
I have something nice. I have something nice to share.
I love it. I love nice
that
things.
pertains to Top Chef. This is actually very lovely. It's bittersweet, but it's lovely. Remember from a few seasons ago, I want to say Fatima, but I think her name is pronounced Fatima. Do you remember? She passed away from cancer a few years ago, which is very unfortunate. But this past weekend were the James Beard Awards, and she posthumously won a James Beard for her book, Savor, A Chef's Hunger for More. So that's really lovely to hear. And for those people who are interested in an update about her or who are just interested in reading her book, go out and read it, and honor her memory that way. So it just literally popped up right here on my phone right before we started recording. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to share that because we love her.
Yeah.
That was my little sweet, sincere moment.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, well, this is a episode full of salty tears squeezing out of my eyes, so let's get on with it. We're in Paris, France. A commenter pointed out last week, and I think she really had this right, the reason that Padma finally quit is because it took her 20 years to say, finally, I found the crunch I've been looking for. She was like, I've had it. I've been looking for this crunch forever. I found it. I'm fucking out of here. Bye. Bye, losers. Bye, pores.
Yeah. She's like, I've always wanted to go to Paris. And like any good series finale, this is where it ends for me. I couldn't help but wonder, as a food journalist, wasn't I just like Carrie Bradshaw ending her time on Sex and the City? More like watching Gail eat the city. Anyway, Padma out.
Reminds me of the time I was writing a blog like in Croissant in the City and Gail came along and ate my blog. I really never knew blogs were edible. She really started the food blog craze, so before I go, I would like to give Gail at least credit for that.
Yeah, when edible people say blogs are so over, I say, yeah, I know, because Gail ate them. Anyway, congratulations,
If you've never seen anybody eat a MacBook before, wow. Be jealous. Be very jealous.
Poor Gail's been walking around this city looking for slot machines. I don't think she realizes which Paris she's in.
She just keeps walking the streets asking for goat cheese balls and Lisa Vanderpump. Wrong Paris, stupid.
She keeps saying, hey, where's Martha Stewart's restaurant that's supposed to be in here? And I say, you're in Paris, France, you idiot. And then she just ate the Eiffel Tower.
She's been talking about getting to get a chunk out of a Hilton arm. And I said, not Paris Hilton, Paris the city, in France, Gail.
She keeps saying, where are all the Basques? Where are all the Bartletts? And I say, Gail, this is not the city of pears, it's the city of Paris.
Okay, so Sarah's having tea in bed. Top Chef I like to think is the most realistic of all the reality shows. But come on, just do people have tea in bed? That's the sloppiest, grossest thing to do. It'll spill on you. It's hot. Don't drink tea in bed. It's hurtful. You've got to protect your boobs. You're still feeding your baby. You're basically holding scalding liquid over your child's kitchen.
Well, yes, but, there's something about going to Paris that makes Americans about 30% sloppier. It's like the moment we step into that city, we just become totally uncouth and disgusting. I'm going to have some tea. I'm going to spill it on my boobs. And then I'm going to throw a pebble at a baker. I don't know. Like,
don't you think it's because
awful.
of diminished? Don't you think it's like the curse of diminished expectations? Because when we go to Paris, Parisians think we're such fucking morons. And, like, listen, honestly, are they right? They are. They're right. They think we're slobs and morons. So I think we just all go there and we know that we're looked at as slobs and morons. So we're just like, where's the Golden Corral? Just point me to the Golden Corral. Not waste time.
So I went to Paris back in 2007, and I was with two friends, and we went to a cafe, and it was so lovely. It was beautiful. And for dessert, my friend ordered some chocolate mousse. So this enormous bowl of chocolate mousse came. We're like, oh my God, like this is such a generous serving. This is amazing. And so my friend was just like eating out of this huge bowl. He's like, I can't finish this. I can't finish it. And then we always laughed about like how crazy that cafe was. Like, like people always say Americans have these oversized servings, whatever. So then like a year goes by and I'm watching John Quijones and it's like, what would you do? And it was like, what would you do if you were seated next to some awful Americans in France? And they're like, so for this experiment, we're going to have actors playing awful Americans and see what they do when they eat out of the customary communal bowl of mousse. And it was like the communal bowl, you're supposed to take the communal bowl and scoop out part and put it on your plate and then pass and like give it back to the waiter. And my friend just took the communal bowl and ate it like it was his own. I was like, and my friend is smart. We're all smart. He's worldly, but in that moment, it's like we just became awful Americans. We became as bad as the fake people on John Quijones. What would you do?
You know what? I'm sorry, but fuck John Quijones, fuck that show, and fuck Paris, frankly. Who does that? A communal bowl? Get your fucking communal shit out of here. This is a restaurant that I'm paying good money for. I flew to Paris for this. I'm not doing a share bowl of mousse. And the least you could do is scoop it out, you fuck, you lazy Paris fuck. Scoop it onto my plate. I want someone else's
how the Cheesecake Factory was born.
in my communal bowl of mousse. What a disgusting custom.
So yeah, going to Paris, Americans become dumber and sloppier. That's for sure.
We just feel like they already think it, so let's just be it. Like you already thought I was cheating on you, so I cheated on you. You're accusing me all the time of cheating, so I just fucking did it. It's that kind of thing. So now we're getting the the finale. Here's how I feel, because now we're in the Olympics and this is a sport, where everybody gives their story about how they're feeling in the finals. And we start with Buddha, and he's like, this is where you want to be, the finale. It feels like a dream come true. When I got the call to come on Top Chef, well, I did it for my dad. Season 1, and then I won, but I still have it in me, and I want to be the greatest mold of all time. I want to be the best mold. I want to beat blue cheese. I'm going to be the finest mold this world has ever seen.
He says, I want to be the cham, the back. It's like, I don't know if you could just take syllables and repeat them and make that a thing. Like, I want to be the boop, and the cop, and the flab, and the oin.
This is the biggest moment of my life, and I'm going to win it. It's like, don. Gabri is preparing by putting on a little beret.
Yes.
Now, normally I don't approve of berets, especially people flying into Paris and immediately putting on a beret. Okay? Normally I don't approve of that. I do in this case. It's an adorable beret.
It works.
It's not a black, like, she, like doing art on the boardwalk of Venice, California. It's not that kind of beret. It's an adorable khaki-colored. Does Banana Republic do berets? Maybe. I don't know.
It was beautiful. I was surprised when he put white makeup on his face and a striped shirt and just started pretending like he was in a glass case. I was like, okay, now you are being a little on the nose. But like the beret itself was good. The beret was good.
I thought so too, but I was so impressed that he was like taking the escalator like slowly down to the basement to finish the challenge.
Yeah, I really liked that when he took the escalator down in that three Michelin star. Like, I think that like Claire Smith was particularly impressed with the elevator that appeared at her table.
So he tells us that he has grown, he comes from a poor family, so he always felt like an underdog. But he won Top Chef Mexico, and he survived against the best chefs in the world. His food is always outside the box. And this cat has more than 9 lives. It's got 9 lives, and 6 bags of very burnt beans. Dun, 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 dun,
I know.
dun, dun.
Burnt beans. Also, he's starting to go a little overboard with the cliches. I felt like an underdog. I'm thinking outside the box, and this cat has more than 9 lives. Also, it's time to choose an animal lane. I mean, I enjoy Dog Cat as much as any Nickelodeon fan, but like you're either an underdog or you're a cat with 9 lives, but you cannot be both anymore. I've decided it's the finale. Which team are you, cat or dog?
He's like, but, being here in Paris, I'm just a pig in shit. It's like, okay, let's calm down.
I'm happy as a clam. What?
Fly like a bird.
So Sarah's like, well, Top Chef compared to the first one is very different. I mean, hey, I'm still a small town girl. Look, I even brought my cum-stained quilt here to Paris. Oops, spilled some tea on it. Hey, it's probably actually best. First time it's been treated with hot water and who knows how long. Hey, I'm going to do what I do best, which is staying true to myself and my food, and I'm going to cook my heart out.
You know what? I'm here in Paris and I'm fucking pumped. Literally. Hold on. Just finished. She's like wringing out her boob. So she's like, I'm going to win this by putting salt in your all sauces. I was like, don't even bother with that. Just hand Gabri a bucket of beans. Okay.
I know.
He'll do himself in.
Punch a hole in one of Buddha's molds and then watch him try to understand why nothing's working.
Do some mold sabotage. Just like switch out his molds with like a big dick mold, or like a poop emoji mold.
This was supposed to be the Eiffel Tower, but something has gone dreadfully wrong.
Get ready for the log rod. It was my father's favorite. It's like, wait a minute.
So they go back to Gallery Lafayette, which they went to last week, but this time they walk in, they're like, oh my God, wow. And I'm like, someone should tell the producer that made them have that reaction that they already were there last week. So come on now.
And they literally are like, oh my God, can you believe this place? Look at this place. And Sarah does my favorite thing. I feel like she does what every dad does when they go in a place like this. She goes, look at the details. Oh, okay. Thank you for telling me.
I think that's Baroque and Rococo with Renaissance in it. I don't know. Maybe that might be a Carla Bruni original.
So Tom and Padma are on the roof, and Padma's like, welcome to Gallery Lafayette. Gail would be here, but the pattern detector went off when she tried to enter, and she was sent to the dress barn jail by the fashion police.
So here to represent Gail's patterns is Tom in a plaid overcoat.
Welcome to the finale of Top Chef World All-Stars Better Than the Universe Top Chef, because I'm still the host. You've won the opportunity to cook whatever you'd like. We just asked for 4 courses, and just cook in your style, not Tom's style. You can see Tom's style right here. Flesh-toned turtleneck on flesh-toned thumb face with an Inspector Gadget tweed trench, like a hand puppet with a mystery to solve.
Well, Padma, I would normally take umbrage to that, but then at least I know whether it's good or bad. I have style. Unlike, say a mixologist who can only express himself by putting a lime wedge into some club soda. I mean, what sort of style is that? Am I right, Padma? So Padma's like, well, we want to see who you are as a chef. You'll be serving the judges and a table full of amazing guests, including editor and chief of Food and Wine magazine, Hunter Lewis, the only person who apparently has never heard Buddha's story about his dad. Also, international director of Michelin Guide, Uendo Puemua, and also, along with award-winning chef and person who's really trying to make colorful fedoras happen year after year, Marcus Samuelson.
Mark, really glad we got Marcus. He's only been on about 70 episodes of Food Network shows as a guest judge. Like, how does Mark...
So hard to book him.
I know. I think Marcus obviously is so talented, but, like, seriously, I can't watch you on Guys Grocery Games, or, like, I can't watch you on, like, Guys... Really, any of Guy's shows,
Guys,
especially the one that's on right now where there's like the Tournament of Champions where they keep the judges, it's a blind tasting, so they keep the judges in the trailer and then the judges have to be in there for like an hour or whatever. And then they just keep dragging the judges back out. And Marcus is always just trying to come up with something new, It's like watching a chefy guy do improv. He's just like, you know what? Meat, I love meat. I love the dryness. I love the moistness. It was like going out on a rainy day and feeling the moisture come down but land in a pool full of salt and then washed over my tongue like a beach bay breeze in a lake in the wintertime. It's like, do you even know what you're talking about anymore, Marcus? Do you even know?
Yeah, when like sometimes when chefs become too media trained, they just become terrible. I mean, you could say that about anyone, but chefs have a unique brand of over media trained terribleness. Brian Malarkey, hello. So
Yes.
he has definitely gone down that.
He's got Ryan Seacrest mouth malarkey. He's like,
Yeah.
here I am to compete on a tournament of champions. Yeah.
I just hate his ongoing attempt to make that fedora be a thing. So also joining will be May Chow, non-vowel in the last namer, Claire Smith, really pronounced, but I wouldn't know because there's no I in it. Ha! Also, Angel Leon and your guest judge from Top Chef France, the country where we first kicked off someone. So think about that for a moment. Helene de Rose.
Now, see, all these other judges, I don't see them on the Food Network all the time. So I'm like, oh my God, they must be amazing. I like that Top Chef kind of keeps it like, oh, have you been on the Food Network lately? Sorry, you can't come here. This is Top Chef.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I love how we're like, wow, Claire Smith is so good. But then people in England are like, oh, I'm so sick of her. She's always on the Beebs 8 o'clock food show. Like enough already. We know that you like mushy peas.
Well, I'm sorry. They may think she's tacky in England, but in America, she has an accent. So we immediately think she's classier than we are.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Did you know that it can now take up to 11 weeks on average to hire for an open position? That is almost 2.5 months. I mean, if you're hiring for your growing business, do you really have that time to wait? I don't.
Well, if you're listening today, I've got some advice for you. Stop waiting and start using ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find qualified candidates for all of your roles fast.
And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/crappens.
How is ZipRecruiter so efficient at helping you hire? Well, ZipRecruiter uses powerful matching technology to quickly find and send you the most qualified people for your roles.
Listen, you can check out the people that ZipRecruiter sends you, and if you really like one or two, you can personally invite them to apply with one click, which may make them apply even sooner. Speed up your hiring process with ZipRecruiter. See why 3.8 million businesses have come to ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs.
Just go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/crappens.
Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/crappens.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
This segment of Watch What Crappens is brought to you by Audible's new music competition podcast, Breakthrough.
So can we talk about something that broke the internet? I mean, when I think about breaking the internet, honestly, what I really think about is Kim Kardashian in that paper magazine spread, you know?
Oh, yeah. The Kardashians break the internet all the time. I still think of the Kylie vacuum on the lips challenge, and I almost did that as a 40-something-year-old person. I almost broke my lip internet. Okay, I almost broke my face.
Well, guess what? Like, whether it's Kim Kardashian or like J-Lo also does it a lot. J-Lo is a big internet breaker. She is a breaker of webs, and both of them are just like they're style icons, and they've had huge earth-shattering, like whether it's an outfit that they're wearing or a look that broke the internet, like they've changed the internet forever.
Now, what did Kelly Rowland, Sarah Bareilles, and Daveed Diggs all have in common? Besides being icons in the music industry, they're all part of Audible's new music competition podcast series called Breakthrough.
So Sarah Bareilles and Kelly Rowland are mentors in Breakthrough, and they decide on a series of challenges for artists to compete in, but there are no eliminations until the live finale when the mentors pick the one winner of this show.
And it's really cool how they do it because it's a music competition show, but they cannot see the artist. So they're not judging them on looks or anything. And they're listening to them, they're getting their stories, and they're figuring out how to shape their artistry through their personality. And it's actually really, really cool. And it's a unique take on the genre.
So whether you love music competitions or are big fans of Kelly Rowland and Sarah Bareilles, you're going to love this show. So listen on Audible or wherever you get your podcast. Go to audible.com/crappens. That's audible.com/crappens. I want to say, by the way, I think on our last Top Chef recap, I mentioned two fat ladies. So first of all, I said that they were sisters. They're not sisters. Second of all, I have started to rewatch the show because it's on YouTube. And God, I wish they were both alive today for many reasons, but particularly because they would have been hilarious judges on the show. They are so funny. Just two dry British ladies driving through the countryside on their little TomTom motorcycle thing. Ronnie, I don't know if you've watched it yet, but I really think you should, especially because the opening music is so Ronnie. The opening music is like, bah, 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 bah. It's like your favorite thing.
Okay, is this the theme song? Bah, 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 bah,
Yeah.
bah, bah, bah,
It's like, that's like literally the theme song.
and they're dry.
No, that's-
I saw a picture you posted. I think they were on like a little motorcycle together. So are they like, was this a fucking flower? Was this a flower ice cream? You know, I don't want to think about fucking flowers while I'm eating my goddamn ice cream. What the fuck is that? Are they that kind of dry?
That is, they are like, it's like, oh, what we have here is a mushroom. Oh, a mushroom. We're going to say you wouldn't want to have a mushroom on a date. No, I wouldn't want to have that at all. Oh, that would be absolutely terrible. Here, try this. Delicious. Yes. That's like the entire show is them talking like that. But the opening music is literally like your description of the opening music is actually 100% accurate. It's literally like, brr, 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 and it goes, and then they sing the lyrics. But they like shout them. They're like, Clarissa, I go through the countryside. Wait, let me attempt.
Clarissa. Oh, I'm not gonna do it. But you know how I got the theme song in my head because I saw the picture you posted of them on a motorcycle, and that's like the music that was playing in my head.
You just could tell. You could tell. Yeah, no, it's like I will get the music up, and you will see how accurate you are. Like it's shocking how close you came to the actual theme song here. You really have no idea. Okay, but here comes the theme song. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Grab that crab, Clarissa. Eat that meat, Jennifer. Why doesn't that pheasant look pleasant? Fasten your taste buds for gastronomic ride. Cause us two fat ladies are itching up to get into your kitchen. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
And all those car noises is a cartoon of their little motorcycle driving across the screen.
Okay, well, thank you. I will definitely watch that show. I'm sorry I have not watched it yet.
No,
okay, but I will watch it.
It's so good. It's just great. It's a great old British show.
I get it. And you're just a pusher and you're trying to push it on me and I will take it. I feel like I think it's funny though that the things you push are the two fat ladies in Love Island. And I'm like, what is going on in Ben's
exporting
house?
strange parts of British culture.
He switches from, oh my God, that one's fat. Isn't that one fat? Who's the most fit one here? To like two ladies like, we're fat ladies. Ah.
Well, they represent
They're
like
not
two
fat. That one's
ends
not
of.
fat. I'll tell you that one. That one's not going to get fucked here. It's not fit at all.
Well, the latter example is what I actually believe is going to happen to many of the contestants of the former example. So let's be
Love
honest.
Island.
You look at some of those Love Island people, and they're all like hot right now. But you can also see, I know what you're going to look like when you're 67 and riding around in a motorcycle in the English countryside. Okay.
Well, that's super important when you're looking at people to date and are really hot. You need to think, what are they going to look like? A, when they're in love with me, because I'm going to feed them, so they're going to get fatter. So put 20 pounds on them. Also older. You have to put age on people because you have to be with people who are going to age well. If you have someone with no cheekbones, no bones, like I have gigantic face bones, but listen, I hit 40 at about 11 years old and I've kind of stayed there. I've kind of stayed at the same look since I was 25, I have to say. I mean, up and down with weight and stuff, but I've looked old for a very long time, but at least you know what you're getting, If I was like flat-faced, I would have just been like, well.
Faye Dunaway and Jessica Biel, they both have, I feel like in their 20s, they look like they were a solid 46. But that's great because then you just rise to that age.
Age early.
Yeah.
Age early.
Works out well.
Yeah. So let's see. So then we go back to Buddha and he's like, if I saw Helene, on the booking system, I'd be having nightmares for weeks. And he's like, this is the biggest table I've ever cooked for in my life. Don't. I'm making a mold of a table. That's it. I'm making a mold of a table.
If even just one of these guest judges showed up at my restaurant, you'd be shitting yourself, which is why I've made a mold of a toilet.
I am so excited to cook for Helene that I've made a mold of Helene's face. I'm going to watch Helene eat Helene's face off. It's going to be amazing.
I've made a mold of some flames, and I've made a mold of a small street, and if you put them together, it becomes Hell and Elaine. Helene. You're welcome.
Little on the nose there, eh? So Padma's like, well, this is the best of the best you're cooking for, and Marcus is going to be wearing a very bright hat, so surely you'll want some help. And then the sous chefs come in, and it's
Sarah, here's a stylist.
Say it again.
You'll all need some help. Sarah, here's a stylist.
So the chefs come on, and Tom's like, whoa, hi, Tom. Well, because your name's Tom and my name's Tom. He's like, hello, Thumbface. He's like, well, okay, well, you were supposed to say Tom, but I guess you had fun, so it's all that matters.
Yeah. All right, Padma. So then they draw knives
Padma?
to see who... Padma?
Padma?
They draw knives to see who's going to pick a sous first. So Sarah gets first. So she picks Amar because he does big flavors. And also... since I was eliminated in London, I took a little trip to Morocco. So I just want to say I'm refreshed on Morocco because I don't know if you've been there before, but it's a country that's near here. They speak the same language.
Sarah's like, yeah, Amar uses a lot of big flavors like me, and he sat by my side pumping his breasts in solidarity for the past few months. So I'm just excited to have him.
Good choice. If you wanted to choose a stupid person. Okay, Gabri, would you like to cry or would you like to pick a sous chef now?
Or would you like to pretend that you're walking up a staircase that's not really there? What are you, 5-0? Okay. Gabri, I don't know if you can hear me from inside that bottle you're hiding in. But he's like, I'm just over here being quiet as a mouse. She's like, oh, God, there we go. Another animal reference.
Wow, Gabri, doing a great job juggling nothing. Maybe next time you should juggle some bean recipes. Okay, who do you choose? So he picks Tom. And then Padma goes, well, Buddha, I guess I know who you're getting. And I actually already knew that because you already made a mold of this person. Get on over there, Ali.
And Ali's like, finally, Ali in the finale. I'm putting the Ali in the finale. So Padma is like, well, before you shop for the best ingredients Paris has to offer, you'll have time to plan. Then you can shop here at Galleria Gourmet or Galleria
Lafayette.
Yeah. Then you can tap your market MasterCard, touch it, MasterCard touch. Then you'll go to McDonald's, the best restaurant in Paris, where we can all give Gail dressing advice because she's going to show up looking like a goddamn American.
And again, don't forget to use your MasterCard, where you can use it the way I treat Gail, contactless. All right. After shopping, you may need to ship something. Sarah, you'll head to Pavilion Le Doyen. It's one of the most historic restaurants in Paris, assuming that Gail hasn't eaten it already, where the likes of Monet and Napoleon and that little French kid who had that song in the 90s once ate.
One of you will be leaving Paris with $250,000. LOL, you'll still be poor. Sponsored by a wedding dress in Paducah, Saratoga, and the title of top chef, forever the star of every show ever in America and the universe, but not the lottery because you have to stay poor. That's in the rules of the show. Fine print, people. Fine print.
Good luck. And Tom's like, bonne chance. That was French. I guess that's just one of the benefits of working in a kitchen where you meet lots of people from different backgrounds. I don't know if you get that at a bar, but bonne chance.
So they all separate to plan. And Gabri and Tom are going over Gabri's menu. And he's like, I'm going to do Mexican. I have to stay with my roots. I have to lay low like a tiger. And so he's going to go with simple and strong.
Got the eye of the tiger on him today.
Yeah.
And Buddha's like, last time I did a menu that was all about family, and this one I'm going to do it all about myself. And either way, my wife is not involved in any of the dishes. She will not be reflected anywhere. She already got a pasta dish earlier in the season.
Yeah, this theme is called Fuck My Family. I'm sick of giving you loans. Stop fucking calling me. All right?
Do you know for Christmas every year I had to actually give a Christmas gift to a pot of stock? That's how much they care about the stock in this family. So, more than me. So, Sarah's like, I've been developing my menu this entire time. And, it's going to be Southern, Creole, French, Jewish, weeds that grow on dead crops, and maybe some blood from my husband's ankle after my dad nearly chopped it off. And also some spinach that's been in the oven since then.
Liver and onions really speaks to my breast. Also, my heritage, because when I was pregnant with both children, all I craved was liver. I was like, I really love Sarah. I do not ever want to go to dinner with Sarah. I just don't want to. She loves things that I just don't love. And she sounds kind of like a serial killer sometimes. Part of it is like I'm pescatarian and I just don't love like the meat orgy that Sarah loves. But sometimes the way she just describes things, it just sounds grosser than everyone else. And I'm not really sure why. Because she's like, yeah, I'm going to do a play on liver, and then some sweetbreads, which sweetbreads are like intestines. Yeah, Ben?
Glands, I think. I think glands. They're not brains. I think they're just glands.
It's like a serial killer food show on Netflix,
I actually love livers. I was like a late in life liver lover. Yes, growing up, I was grossed out by them. So I think they just.
I'm a late in life liver lover. Sorry,
there's
sorry to interrupt, but that was a really good song.
Liver lover, living lovers, liver spaces. Growing up, I of course like chopped liver. It doesn't sound nice, like there's certain Jewish foods.
What am I, chopped liver?
What am I, chopped? Yeah, literally in that metaphor. Like chopped liver is like the lowest piece of shit in the entire world. That's why we have that metaphor. But like, certain Jewish foods, and chopped liver, of course, is not only Jewish, but like, gefilte fish, chopped liver. The French know how to market their foods. Like everything it could be like monkey brain. It's like sous de liver. And you're like, oh, that sounds beautiful. Even sweetbreads, like that's not French, but like the fact that sweetbreads are called sweetbreads, that's called branding. And my people need to learn to have some better branding when it comes to things like gefilte fish, chopped liver. I think the dropping the R at the end also makes it sound not as nice. Guts.
Yeah. Well, who came up with is the term awful French? Because that's not great branding. And I feel
awful
like
is very bad branding. Like who does a homophone of the word awful to describe those cuts of meat?
I think there was just one day where a French chef was like, I'm sick of lying. Sweetbread is not sweet. It is guts. I'm sick of this. You know what? We're going to serve people guts. We're going to call it awful. Just today. Let's just be fucking honest today. And that's how the word awful came among all the other great branding coming from France.
I mean, in French, liver is foie. So I guess foie gras how much nicer does that sound? Oh, I'll have some. We're going to serve some foie versus liver. Like the French know how to brand their crazy foods.
It's actually an English original, awful. Oh my God. It arose in the late 14th century as a combination of the Middle English spelling of off and fall, aptly naming that which falls off or is cast aside from something else. Can you believe I just dissed France? France, your branding is still fucking stellar. I apologize publicly. Thank you, Google.
Let's see what awful is. Oh, this is awful in French. Des shit. Which sort of sounds like the shits.
The shit.
So
okay, take it back.
The shit. Okay, you know what? I think that like all of these half-baked theories
that
are based off of really very little are not great for the world.
That is hilarious that Paris's version of awful is des shit.
Des shit. Des shit.
They're like not even going to try and rebrand awful. Love it.
Either way, I still think awful is being like a portmanteau of two bad concepts, off and fall. It's not great. So anyway, Sarah, I'm going to make liver and onions because I speak to my Jewish heritage. Yeah, because when I was pregnant, I want livers. Yeah. And then I'm making burgoo. Okay. Here's something else. Who doesn't want to have a food that ends with the word goo in it? Am I right?
Yeah, and she's like, so you know what that is, don't you? And Jed Naden pops up from Jersey. She's like, Burger Boo, baby. Like, no, close. It's burgoo. Well, it's a stew. It's made with a variety of meat and vegetables, and it's usually served with cornbread. It was created by a French chef in Kentucky, and he loved all kinds of game in it. Birds, rabbits, squirrels, basically anything that Gabri used as an example in his life is in this stew.
Oh, and they also named him the worst chef that ever came out of France. So there's that too. So then Gabri is going to be adding grasshoppers to his dish, but he's going to make them elevated. And he wants to Yeah, they hop. He's going to he's going to jump to it like a grasshopper. So Gabri's like, he's like, well, I want to represent all the Mexican flavors and stuff. So I'm going to use really humble ingredients and just elevate everything.
Yeah, so his second course is raviolo, and he's gonna make that with plantain. That's the plan, and then he's gonna do a beef sausage with bacon, and do apricot gelée inside. And Tom was like, "You know what? I think we should use agar agar." I was like, "Oh my god, Tom, don't fuck this up for Gabri, okay? He's trying to do the most humble. He's like saying he's gonna use the humblest ingredients in the world, and you're like, you know what? Xanthan gum, agar, and maybe some liquid nitrogen. You know, let's make a foam gel glue face." It's like,
can we put agar in sous vide machine? I was like, oh god, Gabri's done.
I was like, Thomas gonna fuck this kid over.
I know. Then Buddha's like, not only do I represent Top Chef US, but my mother's Malaysian, my dad is from Hong Kong, and I'm Australian. Don't worry, I'll repeat this about 60 more times by the end of the episode in case you forget.
And then he tells a story about how he was in Australia and he didn't know where he fit in because there weren't many people like him there. And one day on Australian Day, he put an Australian flag around his neck, and some white butcher just called out and said, "You're not Australian." And I was like, what the hell? First of all, that sounds like a cartoon village.
You know. Also, by the way, you're not either. You weren't there on that land first, sir.
Yeah, you shithead. And how dare you speak to Vito like that? And also, it just sounds like I was thinking of like Beauty and the Beast, maybe because they're in Paris, but just like walking down the street, and it's not somebody said, "Hey, you're not Australian." It's specifically a butcher. It's like a butcher said it, and then a bookshop owner said, "Don't you listen to him. You're Australian as the rest of us." And then as I walked down to the street, the lady from the laundromat came outside, scrubbing a shirt on her thing. I was like, what life is this? I love it.
A really dark version of like that opening song in Beauty and the Beast. Like, hello, bonjour, you're not a French person.
Yeah, it's like a hateful Beauty and the Beast. But anyway, what a fucking asshole that guy was.
I know, people are awful.
You should beat the shit out of that butcher, Buddha.
Yeah, I really should have.
I hope you make a mold of that butcher and dismember it. Have Sarah dismember it for one of her dishes.
Yeah, turn that butcher into awful. So anyway, he's just gonna represent all these different countries, and he's gonna do like a clam velouté, and he's gonna do like a lobster curry to show off Malaysia. He's gonna do some stuff for Hong Kong. He's gonna do an Australian dessert. And Sarah said that she's going to be doing a cake with English peas because that's something that her mom would make for them when they were children. And Amar's like, peas in a cake? Like, I can understand English peas in Britain in a cake, but in Paris? Wow!
Yeah, Amar's like, what? Is that stewed? Like, how would they do that in Morocco? Is that a thing they have in Morocco? Because I haven't tasted it there.
Like a tagine? Like, you're going to make a tagine for dessert?
I think it's so southern that's the vegetables. That's where the vegetables come in. They're like, you kids, you better eat your vegetables. I'm making it a cake. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Force feeding your kids pea cake.
Yeah. So now they go shopping, and I'm like upset because Gabri can't find the plantains that he needs very badly, and Sarah can't find the sweetbreads. And by the way, jumping ahead a little bit, Sarah and Gabri both sort of mess up on their substitutes for those ingredients. But then Buddha is able to find lobster, and like, I just feel like it's not fair. Like, it's not, I know it wasn't like, it's just the way it is, but I just feel like it was not fair.
Well, we're also used to America. And America is set up that you go into any grocery store and you can pretty much find every country in a way, I'm not saying you can find everything.
The time that you need that ingredient.
Right. Whereas Paris, I've only seen it here on this show and Beauty and the Beast and Emily in Paris. But from especially what I see today on this show, I know you guys are shocked that I'm so ignorant. I know. But from what I'm learning on this show, it's a ton of little markets that each sell specific things. Like there's a pea market, okay? There's a legume market. You have to go to the bean store to get the beans, and then you have to go to the fish store to get the fish, and then you have to go to the rabbit store to get the rabbit, and the button store to get a button. Do you guys have a fucking mall? Have you heard of a grocery store?
They do have grocery stores. I'm proud to say on that Paris trip, I did go to a giant supermarket, and it was like the best thing of all time. It was like an amazing supermarket, and I just would love to run around there.
God, I love a supermarket.
I do. What'd you say?
I love a supermarket.
Yeah. Oh, this one was called, I think it's called the Grande Épicerie.
I love it. Last week I was down in a part of town that I'm not usually in Austin, and I was by the Central Market, and I went to the Central Market. I was spending time in the Central Market. Like I was taking selfies. I was like, oh my God, look at me by the chili pepper stand. Oh my God, look at me by the bakery. Look at all the different kinds of bread they have here. The layout is so different. Like, guys, thank you for coming to my Instagram story. Look at how different this layout is in this Central Market than in my grocery store. Sorry, H-E-B, cheating on you. Follow me, like and subscribe.
I love a supermarket.
Me too.
I really do. But yeah, they do have, but what I don't know is whether supermarkets are as prevalent as they are here, or is it like a thing where like a supermarket is like a special occasion kind of store? Not special occasion, but like there is the supermarket of the town and that's it. Or like as opposed to here where there's like a million supermarkets all over the place.
Yeah, well, they make it look like there's just a lot of little specialty stores. We do see them in that huge market, but then we see them in like literally Le Legume or whatever.
But I love your version of it though, because as you were describing it, like there's a broccoli store and a button shop and a thimble shop. And I was like, in my mind, I was like imagining myself walking down that sidewalk like Belle, being like, oh, I need a button today. I'm going to go to the button shop.
Yeah. And then there's like the button maker comes out and he's like, you're Australian enough for me, young man. And dude is like, thank you. I love this tan.
It's time for a commercial. It's time.
This episode is sponsored by Uber One.
We've all used Uber for rides, and I love using Uber Eats for food delivery. Okay. Hello. I mean, I kind of live off of it. But have you ever heard about Uber One? Uber One is a membership that helps you save on Uber and Uber Eats.
With an Uber One membership, you get exclusive member perks, like up to 10% off Uber Eats and a $0 delivery fee on eligible orders. It just makes sense.
I'm always getting Ubers. I'm always doing Uber Eats. This is the perfect sort of membership for me.
I use this all the time. Some restaurants charge so much for the delivery fee, and I order a ton of food. I've saved hundreds of dollars using this.
One membership to save on Uber and Uber Eats. Join Uber One today. Go to uber.com/Uber1 to learn more.
$0 delivery fee and percentage off discount subject to order minimums and participating stores. Taxes and other fees still apply.
For a Crappens commercial.
Also, it sounds like I'm dissing Paris. I'm just teasing because I don't know. I do have to give Paris props because I've been an asshole. Paris, wow, with your butter. Sarah, did you see this? Sarah orders 3 kilos of butter. They have a butter thing that you order off of that's a ball of butter this big, okay? It's as big as... it's bigger than my head. It was like a huge thing that he picks up a huge ball of butter to go measure her out some butter. And she's like, even Sarah's like, wow, that's a lot of butter. And I was like, I'm fucking going to Paris. I don't care.
I am on the verge of joining, I'm about to take the plunge into the butter crock lifestyle, I have to say. And we're just going here today. This is what today's episode's about. Because also when I went to Paris, my friend Michelle, who you met recently in New York. Not Michelle Colleen, but Michelle, we had drinks with in New York.
Yes, of course.
She was living there for like 10 months. So I stayed with her, and she kept her butter in like a little crock. It was like a little circle thing, and it was just on the counter. Just stayed out of the fridge. She's like, this is how they do it here. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And over the years, I've like heard about the butter crocks, and I've seen people do it, and people say like, really, like keeping butter in a crock on the counter is so much better than keeping it in the fridge. And so I've put them in my Amazon cart, then chickened out, and put them in, then chickened out. And then recently my friend, she just got one, and I was just like, I think it's time. I think it's time for me to go down the butter crock lifestyle. And now this conversation with that talk with that giant butterball, I'm going to do it, guys.
I don't know what a butter crock is. Oh, I only know country crock, you know?
But yeah,
That's not
butter
even
crocks
real
are
butter.
like,
That's fake butter.
that's
country
not even
crock.
real.
Yeah,
It's not even real.
So anyway, they go shopping. They're having to substitute things like you talked about. Gabri finds a Hispanic store, which he's super psyched because now he can find everything that he needs. He can find his. He does find plantains, right? Or does he?
No, he doesn't. He never uses. He gets sweet potatoes instead.
Oh, that's true. So then he ends up finding. He finds the peppers and stuff that he needs, and the grasshoppers. Oh no, he brought the grasshoppers all the way from Mexico, which I love.
Yeah.
So then we go to the Lock Bridge, you know, the famous Parisian Lock Bridge, and Wenlock says, "Don't let Gail eat me, ha ha, heart Padma," which I thought was really touching.
I wonder if Mauricio and Kyle's lock is still there from when they went and put a lock on that bridge and ruined it.
Yeah, it just says
Ruined
the
bridge with their
agency.
lock.
That's all. That's all it says.
The agency.
So then we go to Le Doyen, which is the restaurant they're going to be cooking at. And Sarah is like, do the rabbit first. So that we see them start prepping and cooking and stuff. And then we learn what they're going to make. And guess what? I'm a lazy bitch. So I screenshotted.
Wow, I
came
actually
up.
wrote it, but your screenshot will be much more accurate than my writing it.
Should I just read it? I should just
Yeah,
read
do it. Do it.
For anybody who doesn't want to hear all this, just fast forward a minute. Okay.
People want to hear it. Okay.
So Buddha's first course is rainbow trout with a clam velouté. Second course, blue lobster with squash and curry bisque. Third course is going to be na lam with lamb, roasted eggplant, and lamb croquette. Fourth course, coconut, raspberry, and chocolate lamington. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Gably. What are you showing me? Is that a crock?
I put butter crock up on the screen while you discuss
I
this.
love the butter
Do you
crock.
see that? Do
Yes.
you see it?
That's super cute.
So it's like a little jar, but it has like a top thing that you put in. Yeah.
That's adorable. So do you keep that in the fridge, or obviously?
No, you keep it on the counter.
But then how does it stay so solid in the cup thing?
I think what you do is there's like water in there. And so it says it keeps the butter at the perfect spreading consistency by reflecting outside heat while insulating and cooling the butter. I think that's what the crock does. So there's a lid. The lid actually has the butter in it. You see how the lid has like a little like the butter's actually in the lid, and then the jar part actually has the water, and the water creates an airtight seal that protects the butter from going bad.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, honestly, that's too much for me, though. I'm not being unsupportive of you. I support your choice. I think that's a really cool device. My device I think is better. It's where I take the stick of butter and then I rip down the paper with my hands, and then I just take it and I slam it down onto I use it like a glue stick. Like I take it against the pan and I just rub it against the pan. And that's my butter. And then that's how I do it with pretty much everything. If there's toast that needs butter, I just do that. I glue stick it.
Yeah. Well, I will keep everyone updated on this journey.
It's a good journey. Okay, so Gabri, first course, esquites with grasshopper tostada. A second course is the sweet potato empanada. The third course is chilies en nogada. Fourth course is chocolate tamal, hazelnut ice cream, and chocolate pate à bombe. And then I took pictures of my wood desk, which I think was really pretty. I thought it's a very pretty pattern while I waited.
That's a nice interlude.
Yeah, for Sarah's course. She is doing her couvillon, which is the seafood stew, right? And then her second course is liver and onions with cookie, butter, and figs. And I have to say, cookie butter. Oh my God.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
I don't either. What is it? And why do I want to eat it? And why are you putting it with liver? Then third course, burgoo with beans and cornbread. And the fourth course is going to be pea cake with pistachio and buttermilk sorbet. And again, leave it up to the South to make a sorbet out of buttermilk. Okay? Just leave it to the fucking South.
Did somebody say they're making PK? PK, he's got type 2 diabetes and he can't be made into a cake at the moment.
You can also put him into a crock. It's funny because wasn't PK a butter too? Isn't it it's not butter, it's PK.
Parquet.
Oh, it's parquet. Okay, never mind. Let's just scratch that. Edit that out, Diane. All right,
Diane, don't have them know that we can't tell the difference between PK and parquet. Oh, Diane's our new intern. She's editing all this. We just invented her.
Le Doyen. Okay, so they're cooking. We learn what they're making and stuff. And then Chef Tom comes in to check on progress.
Wait, before Tom enters, something's burning in the kitchen. Guess what? Gabri burned his beans again. How is he burning his beans so often? He's always burning beans.
I think it's because it's the thing that's the most obvious that you just think, I'm never going to mess this up. I can do this in my sleep. And you fuck it up. It's like rice. People fuck up rice all the time on this show. And guess who else fucks it up? Me in my house. I'm the only person I know that can fuck up rice using a crock pot, okay? The Instapot. And those things do everything for you. I can still fuck up rice.
I just use my little rice cooker, my little adorable rice cooker, put it off to the side, just out of my hands.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Okay, we're not going to start looking for rice cookers on Amazon. Okay. It's almost an hour into this recap. Rice into a butter
crock. So he messes up his beans again, and he has to use pre-cooked beans from a can. So you're like, uh-oh, this is bad. Although it doesn't seem to come back to haunt him at all. So I think it was just a red herring. So now Tom comes in.
You can't really impart flavors into dried beans. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. I cook them a lot, and they're just beans. On the inside, they're just beans. I think that the flavoring comes with the outside. That is my non-professional opinion. I say go with canned.
Canned, yeah. I always use canned beans. So Tom enters. Hey, chefs. I just want to see what you guys are up to. What are you doing? Sarah, what's this? What's this you got going on here? I see a bunch of non-sweetbreads. What's this all about? She's like, I'm making a coupon, and I'm going to make some veal liver with some cookie butter. I'm going to terrorize a whole bunch of Keebler-Ells. Be like, hey, bitches, how about some liver in your treehouse, huh? So it's going to be good.
I mean, does everything she sounds murderous. A veal liver? Veal's not even just a cow. It's a baby cow. It's like you've got to make it as sick as possible, and then you've got to torture it by murdering the baby and then serving it with cookie butter. Babies love cookies. This is
the poor veals. They also live a terrible existence, aren't they? Like legs locked down their whole lives.
Oh
their
God, don't talk
baby
about
lives.
It. I don't want to know about it. If that's how veals are treated, poor little
veals are not treated well.
Well,
there, Tom's like, cookie butter. I'll just let that hang in the air there while I go, cookie butter.
And she's like, well, let me tell you this. When you eat it, you're going to know it's my food. That's for damn sure. It's like, yeah, because it sounds like a really dark 10-part Netflix show.
And there'll be a pine cone on top. So Tom's like, all right, Cabri, how you doing over here? Did you burn some more beans? He's like, oh, yes. So I'm making authentic Mexican cuisine, but I'm going to elevate it to a Michelin star. He goes, so, you got pretty emotional when you found out you were going on to the finals. I mean, still riding that high of emotion. Hold on, got a text message from Padma. Please ask Cabri if he wants to cry right now. Signed, Padma. Do you want to cry? Would you like to cry for Padma?
He's like, my passion has brought me here. I will keep my passion. And now I have passion and a beret. And Tom's like, well, okay. Well, you're crying again. All right. Well, Gabby's crying. Can we move on, please? Thank you.
He's taking an escalator down into his burnt beans, apparently. So, Padma?
He's like, I'm wet as a dolphin at the sunset. Okay. All right. That's enough. So then he goes over to Buddha. And Buddha's like, second Tom, wow, great to see you, Tom. And Tom's like, well, listen, I hope there's a third time for you. Great to see you here. Never seen you on my show, my spinoff show, Last Chance Kitchen. Look forward to having you on there at some point. I'm going to have you on here until I finally get you on that show. It's the better of all these shows, frankly. Go ahead, Padma. Padma?
Well, I can't believe this is the last time here. I mean, it's been a pleasure. So it's been so much of a pleasure this last time that I actually used a mold to make 3 separate clocks, but I'm going to serve the food on the 3rd clock because it's the last time.
Well, you said you wanted me on a plate, so I've put a crooked-smiled young person with a bright future and lots of molds on a plate. Just kidding. He's like, okay, put on your shirt. Please put your shirt back on and get up off the plate because you're disturbing me now. It's like, all right. Well, I represent Malaysia, Hong Kong, and American, so I'm going to represent all of that with local produce. And a dessert, of course. He's like, oh, well, okay. Well,
All right.
Whatever you say.
Okay. All right. Well, sous chefs, when they're done, you can go back into your cages. The rest of you guys can come to dinner with us. Okay. Bye, everyone.
I really like that everybody's like, I'm doing my style, but I'm doing it with local produce. Oh, really? You're not going to go to Malaysia for produce? Interesting. Interesting choice. Sarah's not going to fly in a potato from Kentucky? Wow. Bold.
Well, Gabri did bring in some non-local grasshoppers because, as we all know, the grasshoppers
True.
in France all play little accordions. So
Yeah, they're always trying to give you
chew-
fucking advice.
It's bad. They're on strike, so it's a bad. It has a bad mouthfeel.
The Rider Grasshoppers of America. It's like, we will not
They're
do
all-
this show.
They are making impressionist paintings at the moment, so those grasshoppers really they just don't have a good mouthfeel.
So he's like, all right, well, the rest of you have the night off. So everybody else, no, I'm sorry, sous chefs, you have the night off, but all the rest of you, the real chefs, the ones who didn't get kicked off, but flown to Paris to get their noses rubbed in it, you can meet us at a restaurant called Le Poisson, how Le Poisson. I don't know why they cut that song out of the movie The Little Mermaid, but I'm still crying about it. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye. I'm going to take my turtleneck and get out of here. Bye.
Oh, and I should mention that a few episodes ago, we had some discussion about did they go to a restaurant called Dishoom or Dishroom? And it turns out it's Dishoom. Huh.
So Sarah and Buddha, we got a lot of messages about Dishoom, by the way.
Dishoom, yeah. I mean,
Dishoom,
yeah, I've never
yeah.
been. I want to go now. They're like, it's amazing, you stupid. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm stupid. That's.
And then,
that
by
is
the
what-
way-
yeah, everybody was nice.
Everyone was nice, and our friend Asim actually posted on Instagram like last night, geotagged at Dishoom.
Of course.
That's why it was top of mind.
God, the fanciest
Asim.
fucking guy I've ever met. That guy, Asim. Did he know
be
that you
so
talked
excited
about
we mentioned
Dishoom?
him. No, he's gonna find out because I think someone's gonna. I think one of my friends is probably gonna hear this and be like, "Hey, Asim, they mentioned you," and then he'll be very excited. So, all right, let's go to Dishoom. I mean, fake Dishoom. Let's go to Marsan. So all the chefs go to Marsan, which is the restaurant of Hélène Darroze. And Buddha's like, oh, I can't believe it. Oh, I can't believe I'm here with Hélène Darroze's restaurant. This is so amazing. And she's like, oh, hello. I am Hélène Darroze. I am the Elsa. I am Francis Rebel Wilson. Welcome to my restaurant.
Jack, thank you so much for being here. I'm so honored that you're with us. I just want to say, this lady, first of all, Buddha walked in there with a tiny tent. Okay, like
Le tent petite? Le petit tent?
that guy had a little tent on his crotch. Okay, he was totally bonered out. Second, I can see why. I was getting a tent. Did you see that pasta that they pulled out? It was like little raviolis, but they were shaped like crescent moons, and then they had little braided pasta around. What the fuck, Helene? Okay,
Helene.
Helene,
Helene
shut
better
the
be our
fuck
new
up and get
Padma.
down my throat immediately.
Please make Helene our new Padma, please. So
That would be amazing. So Buddha's
imagine?
like, I chased you down last month at the Union Square Market. I don't know if you remember that, do you? And she just pulls out mace. She's like, oh! Maces
trauma
Buddha.
response.
Oui, je me souviens. Ah.
I remember.
So Helene's like, oh, so here you are at the chef's table, eh? And they're like, yes, thank you for that very, very French introduction. And so then they put like a oyster with caviar, with a velouté of white cocoa bean on their hands,
On their hand.
and then which I only recently learned
This, like
that's
between
like
your thumb and your pointing finger, like that little
it's
web.
the butter
or
crock
whatever.
of the hand. Yeah,
The butter crock
And-
of the hand, yeah.
I actually only recently learned, like 3 weeks ago, that that's actually how you're supposed to, or that's one way that people eat caviar, is that you put it on your hand and you go like that.
It's like snorting coke. That's how people snort coke.
It's the
We
original
call it
Coke.
the Gale butter crock. Right.
This is also how Gail eats her Klondike bars.
Wow, chefs, what a nice way to end season 20. One of the best restaurants in Paris. So, what made you want to come besides Helene, Buddha? And Buddha's like, I wanted to come back on Top Chef because I'm obsessed. Last time I only had 5 minutes to reflect and I was just so sad that I could never do it again. And then I got a phone call and it was a dream come true. And now Helen DeRose cooking right now. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Someone get a mold for Buddha. Someone get a mold.
Helene, can you make a pasta basket to catch Buddha's semen? Thank you. It's like, Gail's like, you know what? I feel the same way, by the way, Buddha. Gail, we're not talking about going to a Twinkie factory.
By the way,
so excited.
Can someone get Gail a Band-Aid? You weren't supposed to eat your hand, Gail. You were supposed to eat off of your hand. And Gail's like, but it's Helen DeRose.
Oh, no, Gail. I've got Gail's saliva on me. She was trying to lick the scrapes off my thumb. Gross.
Gail, you may call it licking the plate. Paris calls it assault. All right? Helen, can I use that mace?
Can I use that anti-Buddha mace, please? Thank you so much. So Helen's like, well, now we have some seasonal products. It's chips and fresh walnut, eh? And Tom's like, oh, and there's a little foie gras stuffed in there too.
And Buddha says, c'est bon. And Gail's like, what about you, Sarah? And Padma goes, oh, look, it's bad pattern sisters talking. Only they can understand what they're saying. Tom's like, oh, I understand what they're saying. She just asked, what about Sarah? Ow, stop screaming patterns at me, Tom. Ow.
If you're real quiet, they'll start talking about the first time they ate grass off their lawn. So...
Hint, spoiler alert, it's when a Hershey's truck crashed and spilled chocolate all over the lawn.
Notably, the truck's air conditioning had broken, which is why it was all melted. It had a sordid backstory. So Gail's like, what do you think has been your biggest change, Sarah, since last time? Aside from her finally stepping foot into Paris, sorry to answer that for you, Sarah. You have the floor. You have the floor. Doesn't mean you eat the floor.
Well, personally, for me, seeing people with kids changed it because I saw people with kids. Eddie had kids, Kelsey had kids, and I thought, hey, I can have a successful business and I can have kids too. And Padma was like, we're more capable of hiring nannies than we think, aren't we? Nannies come in all price ranges, don't they?
We are capable of more than we think. That's what all of Gail's family says every time they watch or eat a second butterball turkey at Thanksgiving.
Gail's like, yeah, we are more not you, Gail, not you. Please stop eating the candles, Gail. You're embarrassing us. She's like, you're my best friend, Padma. You're my best friend.
Sometimes Gail actually fashions her culottes into a hat. We are capable of more than we think.
You're my best friend, Padma. Really, I've never felt like more of a ho-ho. So Sarah's
wow, I'm your best friend, Gail? That's funny because my best friend is my dear best friend, Ali Wong and Lena Waithe, and really any other person than Gail. Okay, continue.
The most famous person in Paris, my dear friend, Ratatouille. So Sarah's like, I want to show people you don't have to be from one of the biggest cities in the world.
Yes, you do. Sorry.
You can be from a small town and still still be a chef with the biggest name. Oh, yeah, the biggest name. Sarah. 4 letters. Huge one. I can see it in lights now, Sarah.
Wow, I can't wait for next year's winner after you paved the way for Little Miss Northern Adirondacks, New York.
So Gail's like, I have to say, I have seen a tremendous amount of change and evolution ever since we started in London. And Gabri's like, I owe my life to the kitchen. I want to prove to myself I can do this. I want to fly like an eagle. I want to dig like a squirrel or float like a butterfly.
Well, surely you can engage in all those mixed metaphors because, you're an amazing chef. You can even cook beans, right?
He's like, we are reaching the top of the top. Having this beautiful dinner, what an experience. But I'm carrying a heavy backpack full of overcooked beans. I don't want to let Mexico down.
Well, thank you all for a beautiful season that made me quit this show, full of food, laughter, and in Gabri's case, tears. Gabri, would you like to cry? We hear, Helene, could you please get a goblet to capture his tears so I can always remember them? Thank you.
Helene, do you have any of that Febreze that scented like burnt black beans that you can spray in Gabri's face? I'd love to see him cry.
So, Helene, you are a 10 Michelin star chef. So, how do you use burnt beans? Is that a thing that people do? Because I see Gabri does it all the time. Oh, no?
The chefs, let me get a tear in my eye. Hold on. Chefs, what an experience. I want you to cook the best food of your lives. And remember every moment, because it's once in a lifetime. Like M&Ms. No, Gail. M&Ms are for a lifetime, stupid. I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Padma. I quit now. I quit.
Tomorrow is once in a lifetime. A chance to be near me and have me acknowledge your name still. So please enjoy.
So then the next day, everybody's waking up doing their sports talk. You know, like, today's the day. Top Chef has never gone this big. The caliber of the judges, the caliber of the chefs. And then she poses in her chef's coat in the mirror and gives herself finger guns. She's like, we got this, Olympics.
Yeah, and Gabri wants the crown, you know, because he's not just some seal in a circus, you know. So Buddha's like, today is one of the biggest days of my life. It's more than a win. It's making history, which is why I made a mold of a history book. So, one of the big dramas for Sarah is that she made a tomato water that was really spicy. And she was afraid it would be too spicy because there's British people there. But good news, it is mellowed overnight.
I've never heard of that. Have you? The spicy mellows overnight? I thought it gets
There's
worse
certain
overnight.
things like horseradish might mellow, things like that. But I have not heard of like a chili spice mellowing.
Well, we heard of it today, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. Let's just all gather together. So then
Look at what the Lord did.
Buddha starts whipping out the tricks. He whips out some liquid nitrogen, and Sarah's sauce has settled down, and Gabri is working on the sweet potato dough, which is a little runny. And then Buddha is, but they're working. They're working on food, guys.
They're working.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah. And Sarah's talking about her pea cake, and she's really excited because her mom used to make it for her, and she just feels like this is a great love letter. What a way to, end the season than with a love letter to your mom, etc. And, and then Tom is trying grasshoppers for the first time, and he's like, so right now I am making grasshopper dust, which is, okay. I'm okay with that. I'm like, I hope there's no judgment in your voice, Tom, because you've been putting like toenails into agar all season long. Okay, so make the grasshopper dust.
Yeah, I think it's just crazy for him, but he'll turn around and try and use it later. Especially
Yeah.
if he finds out it has some kind of like gummy quality that he can gum things up with. He loves He loves ways to gum things up.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's almost like dried fish, like maybe it's savory, salty. I can learn a lot from Gabri. I won't, but I could. If I listened, which I don't. He's stupid. So then we go to the judges arriving in slow motion, and Gabri is like a little kid at the window. He's like, oh my God, look at the panel. And he's like running around waving. It's like, Mom, Dad, waving from the window.
And the Padma's like, I just want to thank everyone for being here. This is an extraordinary table. And I know the chefs here are so excited. If you look closely, you can see Sarah tinkle her pants a little bit. It's a very big moment for us to be in Paris, to be celebrating our 20th season. Well, my 19th, but I'm just so fabulous. I'll give myself a 20th. We're so delighted to share this meal with you and also with Marcus's hat. Congratulations, Marcus. It's still not catching on.
I'd also like to give a special thank you to Gail for wearing a solid today. Thank you, Gail. All right, big moment, guys. Marcus, there's a lot of traffic right now. Would you go stand in the street with your traffic cone hat and help direct them? That would be great. Thanks.
And Claire's like, what's really nice is that we're really now seeing who they are as chefs. Yes. Unfortunately, we don't see what your last name's really supposed to be because you still have no vowels, Claire. Stupid non-voweler.
So 2 minutes, chefs, 2 minutes. And Tom's like, looks good to me, but I'm a showman. Oh. So then the first courses come out, and Padma's like, oh, beautiful. Gabri, Tell us about your overall menu, your first course, and your bank account balance. LOL, just kidding. Don't do that last part, okay? This isn't the Kings of Comedy tour.
Gabri, do you think you'll be able to tell us about your menu without crying? Because if you want, we can stop production for 35 minutes for you. He's like, no. He's like, well, so my overall menu is bold like a lion, but also lengthy like a giraffe neck. And also, okay, Gabri, just get to it. Well, I'm using the most humble and traditional dishes from Mexico, and I'm making sweet corn esquites with grasshopper tostada and corn mushroom and a lemon hollandaise.
Wow.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sounds humble. Gail, you want to try that on?
Sarah, tell us about yours.
Well, I want to tell you about my heritage too, okay? So I brought local ingredients to my heritage, all right? So my first dish is couvillon, which is like a Creole dish, but it's with local seafood, and it's completely raw this time. And one of the
Is there any
ladies
diced quilt in here? You said something about local ingredients. I wasn't sure if you meant local to here or to Paducah.
So this unwashed blanket that you've served this on, this is local? No, that part's from that part. Oh, all right. So one of the ladies like, what's this spice in here? And she's like, oh, that's the tomato water. But yeah, you can't serve all these white people that much spice because
British
they
white
literally,
people.
I mean, they literally almost all fell over.
I'm detecting a grain of cayenne pepper. Did you mean to burn my tongue off? I do have a restaurant I must operate after this silliness.
So then Buddha's like, I represent all parts of the world, not just one. I reside in America now, so my first course is New England clam chowder. The first course has rainbow trout, potato, celery with caviar, clam velouté, and butterfly oyster crack. This dish is so fucking beautiful. I can't. This guy is so good. He's so good.
He's so good. And also, I'm glad he gave us some Tweel representation in the finale because we've gotten on like literally every single dish this whole season from everyone. So we have a Tweel butterfly. It is gorgeous.
But this was, I mean, in the land of the Tweel, this was a beautiful, beautiful Tweel. It was gorgeous. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, chefs, when you're cooking, you don't have to reinvent the tweel. Ha!
All right. I know you have a lot to do still, so please go away so the image of Gail chewing doesn't break your spirit. Bye, chefs. We'll see you soon. Save yourselves.
So Marcus is like, you know what? There's like a lot of personality in these dishes. Sarah blew me away. I love the brightness. Catch me on Food Network.
And Elaine's like, Sarah was nice, but really, really spicy at one stage, and that was overpowering. My tongue is on the floor right now. What is tomato water? My God, what was it? Fire in my mouth? Call the fire department, am I right? That was ridiculous.
Somebody call 911. God, I love that song after all these years. So Gail is like,
Well, you know what? I'm very excited by Gabri. He's really wonderful what he's done.
and then one person's like, well, it's toasted, it's over toasted, but the presentation's really nice. And Tom's like, it's like a little too thick and overcooked. Oh, like Gail's hair. Go on, Tom. Yeah, but it's a good start. Not like Gail's hair. There's no hope there.
And Claire loves it. She thinks it's delicious. And Padma's like, I thought Buddha's looked beautiful. You can see his refinement. And Gwendol is like, a bit too generous with the sauce. Very creamy. Ugh. It's New England clam chowder, sir. And you're French and you're complaining about too much cream? No. Okay.
Yes, I don't too generous with the soup. Don't remind me of the fact that we know how to give stars in America.
Oh, go back to your tire magazine.
Don't forget your origins are tires, okay? So then Hunter Lewis is like, the reinforcement with the clam juice. I mean, I love that. People talk about Buddha as a technician, but there's soul to that sauce. Lots of soul.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anyway, loser, quiet. New things have to happen.
Hey, can I just say something positive about Gail for once? She was way better than you as the editor of Food and Wine magazine. So thank you, Gail. Thank you. Hunter, shut
Thanks,
up over
Gail.
there, okay, stupid? Nobody wants to hear the new Gail's opinion.
Oh, I just realized. I think I meant Nilu. It's just so hard sometimes to keep them straight.
Wasn't Gail the editor of Food and Wine? She was, because I met her at Chameau, where I used to work.
Yeah, she was. She was an editor, and then so was Nilu, I think. And well, actually, I think Dana Cowan was like the boss. But,
I think
Gail was
Dana
an
Cowan
editor.
definitely had boss energy, right?
And I think Dana Cowan was the best. And I don't like Hunter's fine, but I want Dana Cowan to come in with that sort of fragile energy that she has. Like she just got bad news, but is trying to like not show it on camera. I love that.
But also pawn it off on you. Like she's the person who comes into the office in a bad mood, and instead of crying, she fires everybody. Like that's what I get from Dana Cowan.
Bring back Dana Cowan.
Also, can I tell you what Hunter did wrong? Literally nothing. He's adorable. I
know.
I just heard his title and I was like, that's Gail's job. And I feel like Gail should still be getting that check, even though she's never at the office anymore. So,
Yeah.
there you go.
So now it's time for course 2, and Sarah waits for the very last minute to slice her liver. I guess she probably is doing the thing where she wants the meat to rest, but it's a huge mistake because when she slices it, the liver is too rare, and she doesn't have time to throw it onto the salamander to get some last heat. So it's bad news.
It
I was
sucked,
like,
and they
"Oh."
kept showing Amar going, "Are we gonna slice the liver?" And she's like, "Nah, not until the very last second." And then every time they cut back to the kitchen, he's like, "Now can we slice?" She's like, "No, don't do it till." And then it's fucked up. So that's lame. So she's like, "I'm gonna be real pissed if this takes me out of the competition." But nothing you can do now. So next course is served, and as it goes out, Tom kisses Gabri on the head. That's so cute.
Oh, that's cute.
So Gabri serves his sweet potato empanada with a black bean filling and cheese foam. And it's covered in shaved almonds. And it also has an almond foam on the bottom. A lot of
Yeah,
foams.
and Sarah is serving a veal liver and onions with cookie butter and figs. And then Buddha has a red curry bisque with blue lobster and pickled squash salad and ravioli dumpling. So Padma's like,
Okay, get back in there. Who do you think you are? Famous people? Get out of my face.
Also, someone call a medic. Gail went into a shock when she heard cookie butter. someone give Gail cookie to cookie, would you?
Also, Sarah, could you explain to Gail that there's not actually a salamander back there? It's a different kind of salamander. She's just getting very hungry at the thought of it.
I think Gabri's looked a little crazy. It looks like a big circle of sweet potato taking a bath in like
It did.
melted cheese. It was weird.
I liked it though.
And then Sarah's looked okay. I think Buddha's, of course, it's like fucking artwork the way this guy does it.
Yeah.
And I know it's not all about looks, but
But for us, it is because that's all we have to go off of. Buddha's definitely looked the best here. Although I kind of did like Gabri's. I just was so sad for Sarah because I love the idea that she's going to be doing livers. And I love livers, as I said before. And so I was bummed because it was also like, this is a big mistake. Like this is
a
the sort of
big
thing
one,
that can
yeah.
take you out. Yeah.
well, this is
So-
one that you watching Top Chef, you're like, okay, you can't win. Right? Like there's no way you can win. So then the judges, unless the other two really fuck up, which it's possible. I mean, you're against Gabri who just burnt beans. So
Yeah.
you've got that going for you. And then, not that he served those, but still, like it's possible. But Buddha's really going to have to like splat for her to win this
Right.
one.
So Gail is like,
I had a really hard time eating even one bite of Sarah's liver, and I love liver, but it was really raw. Well, you had trouble eating one bite of it, but why didn't you just puree it up and make a milkshake like you normally do with livers?
Things that Gail has never said. I really had a hard time eating. So then Helene
Maybe
is
it's time
like,
for me to resign.
Helene's like, and liver is very hard to eat when it is undercooked. And then the French guy at the end of the table, who speaks French, is like, which meant this is a very hard product to cook with.
yes. And then they're chasing Buddha's curry, and Marcus, he's like,
This feels, I've got to say, a little dense. But, one thing it could definitely use is some acid. Will it be fixed in time? That's one thing we'll have to wait and see.
Let's spin the wheel and see. Also, I like that Gwendol, the Michelin guy, called the first dish. He's like, Sarah's dish was risky, but it was imbalanced. I was like, oh my God, you even talk like someone fixing tires. Would you stop with the tire talk, Michelin person? So yeah, then Tom is talking about this the Buddha's dish with the sauce, and he's like, well, what I do like about the sauce is that the spice just keeps on coming. I mean, it's crazy. It's like Buddha when we mentioned he was going to get to meet Helene. I mean, just a constant stream. And Padma's like, yeah, it's beautiful. Padma's like, this is my last episode, so I'm giving it everything I have. She's like, it's beautiful, luscious, smooth curry. Like, oh God. Padma's anger. Padma's curry passion.
You know what? I really like Capri's empanada. I found it rich and surprising, almost like a luscious curry. And I didn't expect a soft empanada made of sweet potato. And then another lady is like, well, I wanted less sauce, but I love the authenticity of the flavor. And then Daniela Soto Ines says, it's not really an empanada, but it reminds her of Mexico, which is her way of saying, this sucked, but I don't want to bash him.
Well, I thought it was really funny because Mei Chow was like, the authenticity of this flavor is amazing. And then the actual Mexican chef is like, this does not taste anything like an empanada. I was like, whoa, way to body slam Mei Chow, Daniela. Jesus.
So then now it's time for the next courses. So Gabri serves his chiles and nogada ground beef with sauce and dehydrated fruit filled with poblano pepper and the sauce of nuts. And I'm sorry, that was ground beef sausage. And one chef just goes, wow. And then Sarah serves her burgoo with a roulade of rabbit loin, etc. And cornbread madeleine that crumbles into the stew. And then Buddha has a lamb with eggplant, pickled onions.
Sorry, I have to stop. Sarah's, okay? Listen to this description. It's a rabbit loin stuffed with its own kidneys. What the fuck, you fucking serial killer? And then she's like, and rabbit leg with some burnt duck skin. I was like, for fuck's sake, man. This woman really needs her own show.
Yeah, it's pretty visceral stuff. Yeah. And so then they serve it, and Pam's like, get back in there. See, I say it with a smile to make it look like I'm friendly. But I really just can't stand their faces.
So now the judges are talking, and Padma's like, what do you think of the burgoo? And Tom's like, well, I thought the burgoo was the star. Wow, whoa, starring burgoo. Dun, 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 dun. Here comes the burgoo.
And the boudin. I mean, I've never had boudin as light as that. I mean, that was the lightest boudin. The lightness from that boudin is like what I imagine it must feel like when my son will eventually say, I don't want to be a mixologist anymore. I want to go into cooking. Oh, that would be some lightness, a real weight off my shoulders.
And Helene's like, oh, it was so much work. Very well executed. And Gail's like, the cornbread really did its job.
What was that? To pick the fleas out of your hair, Gail?
So Claire's like, it was rustic, but very refined rustic. Like, wow, Sarah just showed us why she's here. And now they move on to Gabri, and Tom's like, whoa, those flavors are wild. I can't really figure it out, but like a cosmopolitan, I still like it. I mean, what is it? Why is it pink?
And Helen's like, there were some pieces that were sweet, but Gabri engaged himself in this dish. I love it so much.
So Buddha's dish is very accomplished. And Marcus is like, it's crispy where it needs to be crispy, and it's soft where it needs to be soft. I found this elegant. I found it fun. I found it a walk on a summer day. I found it a rain on a spring morning. I found it a swimming pool in a winter mall. That's what I thought.
And the British guy's like,
it's refined and it's showing technique. And this is definitely his best dish so far.
Now, by the way, at this point, I feel like they're most intrigued by Gabri's food. I feel like they really like Buddha's food, but I feel like they're not wowed by Buddha's food. I feel like it's just
they're bored.
They're bored by it. It feels like a little bit painting by the numbers. And I don't know where they stand with Sarah.
I think that this little part here, all jokes aside, they were bored because Marcus is like, elegant, fun. And then the English guy is like, once again, refined. He's showing technique. this is his best so far, but they're just like, oh my God, it's like it's like Adele, okay? It's like Adele coming out with another album singing sad songs. Like, okay, you're one of the best singers in the world. Adele's still sad.
Yeah.
I think they want more.
My friend Paul has a theory, and I kind of like his theory. He says he likes eating at like a 1 Michelin star restaurant more than like a 3 Michelin star restaurant, because a 1 Michelin star, the chef has a star, but now wants more. And so they're going to be more ambitious and they're going to try for more. Whereas like a 3 Michelin star restaurant, the chef has already like achieved perfection and is now just like at that level. And so there's part of me that wonders if that in a weird way applies to the situation where Buddha is doing excellent work, and it's ambitious. It's definitely ambitious, but it makes me wonder, is it like safely wonderful in some ways?
I feel like it's unfair in a way, because I feel like he's like clear. I feel like they're just bored because he's clearly the best, and I think it's human to be bored with that. It's like, oh, here comes the hero again. Like they had to give superheroes some faults because people stopped liking them. Like Superman got so powerful that they literally had to invent faults for him because people stopped buying the comic books. Look, I heard that the other day on a podcast. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. Look, no one wants to play Mario in Super Mario Brothers 2. They want to play the princess because she picks up things slowly, and she has a lot of shortcomings, but she can jump and float in that sky for so long, and it's just more fun than just playing with Mario, who's just an all around great one.
Yeah. So it's a little unfair to Buddha, but I get it. Because these are so many chefs who have seen all these books and they've seen these tricks, they've learned these tricks. They're not as impressed with the tricks,
Yeah.
So then we go back to the kitchen, and Sarah is really psyched for her pea cake, which doesn't really look like a cake. It looks like kind of a pea glop, but still looks good. I mean,
well, because she did that very chefy thing.
Kick cake out of bed.
Yeah, she did that very chefy thing where you don't cut like a slice. You take like the cake and then you like crumble it up and put it on the cake on the plate.
Oh, so like how Gail eats it. Just get in there with your hands. She's a little bucket cake kind of a lady.
Yes, they come and they serve the desserts. Gabri has his chocolate tamale, and he's like, why is this not a thing? And I agree with him. It looks amazing. Sarah has her pea cake, and Buddha has, I was born in Australia, so here's an Australian dessert called Lamington. Oh,
liquid
Lamington.
nitrogen.
That's what we call Gail sometimes.
So we called Gail in the 90s, Lamy McLamerton. So yeah, he pours liquid nitrogen all over his, so it's like smoking, and he's like, I'm going for it. I'm bringing out the theater and the drama, warlord in style.
So Padma's like, all right, chefs. Well, you may not know this, but this may be one of the last times I get to do this. So I called my dear friend Lupita Nyong'o, and I said, how do I cry? And she told me, just do it. So here's what I'm going to do. You all should feel extremely accomplished. I'm so proud of all of you guys. That was crying. Thank you.
And Sarah's like, it has been an honor and a privilege. And Gabri's crying, and he's like, this just being here is the realization of my life. And Buddha's like, this was a dream that I had when I was holding tweezers and very carefully putting a little tiny butterfly twill down. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Bye. I was like, well, he was like the most heartless in his ending too. I need some tears,
Yeah.
Buddha. They think you're too cold. I need a story right now. Sad story, Buddha. Come on.
Also, chefs, I'm the one who's supposed to be crying, not you. You had your opportunities all season long, so please get out of here with your real tears so everyone can appreciate my Padma tears. Thank you.
I'm really going for that Emmy this year, everybody. Please go back to the stew room. It's like, all right, Padma, we get it. You're leaving, Swan. Okay.
Pack your tears and go.
I said to myself. So she's like, what do you think of those desserts, everybody? And Daniela finally loved something of Gabri's, because I feel like she's been really tough on him. And she's like, well, the chocolate tamal was incredible, and I love the cheese in my cream, in my ice cream. And May's like, yeah, that was pretty bold. He's just like, you know what? Fuck it. It's dessert. I'm going to put some goat cheese on my ice cream.
Yeah. And then Helen's like, you will remember it. So then, just like being attacked in Union Square by a crazy person, you will remember. So then they love the coconut and the chocolate. Gail's like, I love, the coconut and the chocolate. I am a total sucker for that flavor combination. Oh, you know what other flavor combination Gail loves? Everything paired with everything. And that includes rubber soles of shoes.
So they're talking about Buddha, and Daniela's like, he's an amazing chef. He's everything about precision and technique. And I thought it was very beautiful. God, am I asleep? Because I feel like my eyes are closed right now, honestly. And Tom's like, well, Sarah, I just got to say, vegetables for dessert. Whoa, so different. That's crazy. That is nuts. I mean, buttermilk sorbet.
Helen's like, I love when a plate speaks of memories, like going on your first trip to New York City and strange person coming up to you demanding take a photo and then try to put you in back of a van and you say, no, I have restaurant and run away through the grace of God. I love a plate that can speak of that.
And the French-speaking chef is like, Sarah has the technique of a great chef, magical food. I'm like, wow, Sarah has a chance. Here she goes. And they loved her humble peas, her humble pea cake. And Gwendol is like, we've been so fortunate. And Helene says, it will be very difficult to pick winner. So I would like to announce, I vote for me, Helene. Thank you. Thank you. It's me again, Helene.
Well, it was wonderful having all of your input. And also, Marcus, thanks for trying out that fedora with us. Happy finale, everyone. Happy
tried
20th season.
I would like to raise a toast, mostly because I like to see Gail jump up and try to catch it with her mouth. That was fun. Okay, now let's toast with glasses. Gail, stay down. This is glass. I don't want you to get hurt again.
So now the chefs, the finalists go in front of the judges, and Padma's like,
For the three of you, this is not your first finale, although only one of you has been to Paris before. Wow. And this meal was absolutely stunning. And Gail's like, individually, there were some moments that I'll never forget during this meal. Oh yeah, like when you got the text alert that everything was half off at Dress Barn?
This is the first time that we've ever been served grasshoppers at a finale. And Tom's like, yeah, you know what? It was like a sweet dirt in the best way. Yeah, we all felt what it would be like to be Gail as a worm for just a moment in time.
Helen's like, the taste for me was really balanced and well combined. And then Sarah's like, well, I want to kind of do this I wanted this French Creole dish, and instead of hammering it, I thought I'd serve it raw. And I did consider plucking some weeds from around the Eiffel Tower and putting it on top, just as a reference to where I grew up. But I decided that'd be too much.
And Buddha wanted to do a New England clam chowder for his first. And Padma's like, but first of all, it was gorgeous. And everyone was oohing and awing. Am I crying right now? Because I am on the inside. Anyone? Are you getting this close-up camera?
And Helene thought that the velouté was, needed some acid. And Gail's like, I think with a few small tweaks, that would be a truly spectacular signature dish. That's so funny, Gail, because I always say, with a few small tweaks, you would certainly be very far from where you need to be. God, it takes more than tweaks.
Oh, so then, where are we? Are we on the second dish yet? The
Second dish.
Okay. So Gail's like, Gabri, it wasn't the empanada I know. I wish there was less cheese sauce. Wow, congratulations. That's the first time anyone has made Gail say those words in that combination. We're really getting a lot out of Gail today.
Yeah, and then Sarah's saying, I eat a lot of liver. They ask her about her dish. I eat a lot of liver, and I don't think that in America we give it enough credit. And Helen's like, well, what? The dish was a great idea, but unfortunately, a big problem for me was the liver was undercooked, unfortunately. And Sarah's
I'm
like,
not going to mince words. My liver was just blue.
Da-boo-dee, da-boo-da, da-boo-dee, da-boo-da.
Padma is really just going all the way there today. I wonder if she just decided to quit before this episode, because she is giving the performance of her fucking lifetime today.
Padma's like probably like 3 days later. She's like, I've had the shits for 3 days because of that blue fucking liver. I quit this damn show.
So Tom's like, well, Buddha, your lobster was cooked. So I thought you did a reasonable job of getting acidity by pickling the pumpkin, but it needed more. I'm saying reasonable, and I'm impressed that your lobster was cooked. So, not looking good for you in the finale, gotta say.
You know what? I appreciate it. It almost brings a tear to my eye. Your curry was mild. I thought it was luscious, like a Jackson, luscious Jackson, delicate and very well executed.
Yeah, she gives a big dramatic. Okay, so now when Padma starts really standing up for somebody, because she's been doing this for Buddha all episode long, they usually lose. Because this is like where Padma tries to enforce her, I'm just as worthy of being a judge as everyone else here, even though I'm the host as well, and gorgeous and a supermodel. And she kind of tries to enforce, you know what I mean? Like when she gets kind of like annoyed and she starts defending someone and then they never choose who Padma is defending. Like 90% of the time, they're like, no. Padma's going on a monologue and pretending to cry. They are not going to win. Like they won't give it to Padma. And so that worries me for Buddha. Because I went into this thinking Buddha's got this. I went into this judging thinking he's got it. I think that Sarah would have had a chance without that liver not being cooked.
The liver is, that liver, you just can't win with that. Everyone's cooking on such a high level, you can't have undercooked liver. So now it's the third course. And
Gabri, did this come out the way you wanted it to? Did you mean to serve some crazy sushi roll made of sausage and other stuff?
And he wanted it spicier and thinks it was too sweet. And Helene's like, I don't love spicily normally. We know, Helene. We guessed, okay? But I would love more spice because, the combo of everything otherwise was perfect. And Tom's like, I liked it. You gave us a humble menu. You didn't buy crazy ingredients. I didn't really expect to eat ground beef at the Top Chef finale. Wow. Whoa, humble. Yeah, that was pretty humble. Do I sound offensive right now? I've said humble a lot. I can't stop saying the word humble. Ground beef. Wow. Whoa.
wow.
Whoa.
Ground beef at the Top Chef finale. Don't expect that. But, crazier things happen in life. Like, I don't know, the son of a major award-winning chef decided to become a bartender instead of taking on the lessons his father has learned. Crazy things happen in life, Padma.
Wow, Helene, are you okay over there? I see you're sweating.
Oh, yes, I just had some vanilla ice cream. It's just so spicy. This ice cream. Oh, my goodness.
So Helene's like, Sarah, you engage so much work in cooking meat. Spectacular. Love it. It was like 10 murder scenes in one dish. And Tom's like, yeah, the work on the rabbit. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, it was stuffed rabbit. What was it? A rabbit that was killed, stuffed, then hung, then sliced open, and then drowned, and then restuffed, and wrapped in duck skin, and then the duck skin was burnt as well. It was a lot of murder on one plate. Well done.
And I really loved how your burgoo made the image of Glenn Close. That just really finished the entire look of the plate.
So then the final course, Padma's like, all three were stunning.
Although perhaps a bit too spicy for Helen. Sorry, Helen.
So Helen loved that there was like the goat cheese thing on Gabri's dessert. And she's like, on paper, we say, okay, this guy's crazy, no? Crazy, non-French person, no? But it worked.
The combo of everything was very perfect. And Tom's like, and Gabri, you gave us a humble menu. It was very humble. Very, very, very humble. It was humble. Whoa, that was so humble. I couldn't even eat it. I could barely eat it. It was so humble. Sarah's dessert was playful and elegant. And hold on, everybody. Sarah, that was the best thing I ate today. Congratulations. Can somebody bring me a tissue? No, not you, Gail. A celebrity tissue. Someone bring in my good friend celebrity something with a tissue, please.
Hold on, I'm just seeing if I've been nominated for an Emmy in the category of person who ate the best thing she ever had today. I'm still waiting. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
No. So Tom's like, well, you had me at buttermilk and lemon curd, Sarah. And Padma's like, wow, it's like you're writing a rom-com for Gail. So please give your mother a big hug from all of us, Sarah, because I wouldn't hug her. She's too poor for me. So, Buddha, how did you decide on a sculptural dessert? I've had to stand up for it literally all day.
Well, I haven't been able to make a lot of Australian things since I've been here. And, I represent Australia. You may not know this about me. My mother's Malaysian, my father's from Hong Kong. I live in America, but I was raised in Australia. Funny how that works. So anyway, I decided to make an Australian dessert. It's called roasted koala through a didgeridoo, but it's really just raspberries.
Loved it. Classic flavors done in a really modern way. And Elaine's like, personally, I like dessert more spontaneous than plated like this, but what was it? Rolls on antlers of deer? I didn't really understand what you were trying to say. It's like roadkill. You see, when I was a young child, we were driving on a road and we ran over a deer, and I walked to the side of the road and I picked up a flower and I put it on the deer before we drove away. So it's quite a literal dish of my feelings as a child. That was
I
disgusting.
just want to point that. I just want to point out that Sarah's cake just went off to join the circus. See, I love a spontaneous dessert. Love a spontaneous dessert.
I love a spontaneous vegetable in the circus. Sarah, you win.
Padma's like, and there we have it. None of you are famous. I finally decided that. Tom's like, well, it's been a few years since I've really spent time in the kitchen. And because of you three, I can't wait to get back to America. Okay, goodbye. So now here's
I
the
haven't been this
thing.
bloated in years, so thanks. I will be staying in America for a very long time. Thank you for the cheese, France.
Padma. So here's the thing. We watched this Top Chef episode with a screener.
Yes.
And we love, which is very great. But for this screener, since it's the finale, and this is such privileged information about who wins, they actually did not give us the final act of the show, the final deliberations and winner. And the thing is, also, we are about to go we are. I mean, you're listening to us. We're clearly in San Diego, but we don't have time to finish this episode with the actual facts. So we've decided we're just going to imagine.
We're going to make it up.
How
okay,
this
so
all
let's just
goes from
continue
here.
the show. So the chefs go to the stew room, and then they start going over all the courses. So
And
Padma's
Sarah's-
like,
Yeah.
I have to say, I was really impressed with Gabri. When he came out, he was wearing that Gail perfume, and I thought, wait a minute. Gail, are you wearing that burnt black bean smell again? But it was just Gabri. And I have to say, I wasn't expecting such a humble meal.
Yeah, I have to agree. In 20 years of doing the show, I don't think we've ever had a finale like this. Yes, I agree also. You know what? And I have to say also, in 20 years, we've never had food cooking on this level. I mean, this is some of the best finale food we've ever had. Hello, I just want to interrupt. This is my first time here, but I have watched your show. You say this every finale, don't you? Quiet, Frenchie.
Well, I would like to thank Sarah because my husband owns a butter shop, and she came in and bought 3 kilos. So I'd like to say thank you. Finally, we got some progress on that ball made, that butter ball. So I will vote for Sarah because it was wonderful. So many ways to murder animals on one dish. For me, this wins.
Let's talk about that liver. None of us could eat it, and Gail claims she couldn't eat one bite, and yet I'm seeing it in between her teeth right now. Gail, do you have a revised opinion on it?
You know what? I really could not eat the liver. It was tasteless. Wow, much like everything that you've worn this season, Gail. Are we really going to trust Gail on this one? Tom, who is your favorite?
Well, Sarah, the way she made that boudin, I've just never seen a boudin so light. That was just like a big, light boudin. It was like a balloon. Like you could step into it and you could just rise up into the air in a hot boudin balloon. It was wonderful. Oh, I love a spontaneous boudin. Oh, it's so wonderful when boudin just floats up in the air and takes you across the countryside. Love it.
And frankly, I really loved Sarah's burgoo, even though it sounds kind of like booger, and I didn't want to like it. I did. I found it delicious. But unfortunately, she undercooked her liver, and undercooked liver, as we all know, is no liver. It's a dyer. It was inedible. Can I get a tissue? I need a tissue, please.
Buddha, he made a little butterfly out of twill. It was his little oyster cracker on his
really clam chowder, which also had rainbow trout in it. He's from a bunch of different countries. I mean, it's just he is a technician. I do wonder he missed some acid, but he does some great work and love it. He's like the son I never had. I'll just say it right now. He's the son I never had.
Yeah, I just want to say that, Buddha's food, yes, is it predictably amazing every single time? Sure is. But, finally, we have somebody in my life who strives for nothing more than to please their father. So he's got my vote. I give it to Buddha. I mean, listen, I would vote for Gabri, but what the fuck was that? Okay, that was interesting. It was humble. But you know what? So are circus performers, and I'm not going to give them any prizes. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Buddha on this one. That's what I say.
Buddha did everything exceptionally well. He was by the numbers. But I ask you this. Yes, here comes one of my out-of-nowhere Gail Simmons reads. Was his food actually any good, or are we just saying that because there was a butterfly on it?
Well, Gail brings up a good point. It's classic. Gail Simmons brings up a random read of a chef at the end of the deliberations. Who knew?
All right. I think we've got... Helene, did you want to add anything? I just wanted to say, les poissons. How I love les poissons.
Oh, thank you for adding that back into the film, Little Mermaid. You just redeemed that film for me. All right, let's bring those chefs back in.
Helene, wait one moment here. I've got this. Helene, are you wearing Marcus Samuelson's fedora? Oui. He said I must wear it on camera as much as possible. He gave me $50.
Helene's like taking a little bit of straw out of the hat and throwing it down. It's like, Helene, what were you and Marcus doing after that, you little rascal? So they call the chefs in, and Padma has she's got like some Visine that she's squirting into her eyes so she can have the most dramatic final judges table announcing ever. And then we get Tom's final Tom Gina monologue of the season. He's like, chefs, sometimes in life, sometimes you see London, and sometimes you see France, and sometimes you see Padma's underpants. So I'd like to thank you all for doing such a great job. Padma?
We started in London. We went to Paris. And the two things that connect that experience is the channel. And the funny thing about the channel is the channel took a long time to make. It takes a long time to get to where you are right now. You all are, in your own way, you're each a channel. And I just want you to know that whoever won didn't win because they were so good. It's because everyone cooked the worst meal they ever cooked in their life. Sorry, I just had to say it. Got to put it out there. But that being said, there's a lot of things that had to happen. When you look up in the sky, you see an astronaut. You may remember this from last season. If you see a star, you might be an astronaut. That might be your life. But instead of your chefs, you'll never go to space. Padma?
Okay, now, like the movie Clue, which I don't know if some of you are too young to remember this film, but we are not. Okay, Pepperidge Farm remembers. So Clue, they didn't want spoilers. So they didn't want people leaving the movie saying, oh, I know who the killer was. So they just made 3 endings, okay? So that's what we're going to do now for you, okay?
Yeah.
So the winner of Top Chef All-Star World Best of the World, best in France, better than London, not better than America because that's where I live. But where did America steal America from? That's right, England. The winner is Buddha. Finally, everybody listened to my advice and gave it to Buddha.
Buddha, the most inevitable winner of the season. Congratulations, Buddha. How does it feel? Are you from France now?
Well, honestly, this is, I'm going to do that thing to show that I'm humble, which is that I'm going to inflate my lips with air and go, wow, I can't believe this. I mean, it was one thing to win Top Chef regular, but now that I've won Top Chef Superstar, bigger than everything else, Sarasota Springs sponsored my winning. Wow. This is an honor. I mean, don't forget, there was Govind, or whatever his name was, Claire Smith, my mentor. I mean, some are saying I'm the best chef that's ever been on the show. Maybe the best chef that humanity's ever seen. I can't believe it.
I would like to say thank you for not giving me this win, because just because it was the first time I didn't dedicate something to my family. Fuck my family, like to keep that. And I'd also like to thank you for the $250,000, which I'm going to use to buy 250,000 new molds. So thank you very much for that. Oh, also, who's this? Who's this coming in here? It's a baker. I'm sorry, baker. What do you have to say? You're a real Parisian, buddy. You're a real Parisian. Wow, look at the balloons falling from the sky. Or was it ending number 2?
Well, I just want to also give a shout out to my big brother who helped me through all of this. A pot of stock that's been around since before I was born. Thank you, pot of stock. You got me through the hard times.
All right, now for ending number 2. The winner of Top Chef World All-Stars, better than any country put together or combined, the United Nations of prizes, the biggest competition, bigger than
The
anything
deepest
Guy
layer.
Fieri can even dream of producing.
The deepest layer in the Talenti canister. Please
Is-
welcome is
Sarah.
Sarah. Here's your complimentary banjo for your speech. Oh, well, God, well, thanks so much. You know, ever since I first ate my first pancone and a skunk parfait, I thought, cooking's going to be a thing for me. And now here I am, years later, feeding you all crab cover moss and mushrooms with some, I don't know, like they're not really poisonous, but they're not really tasty. I think they're just sort of lax. Oh, you know what? I actually think I served you Pepto-Bismol. It's not a mushroom. Thanks so much for this opportunity. It really means a lot.
Who knew? Ever since the first time my mom pegged my dad in the back of that barn in Paducah, no one even knew you could get pregnant from pegging a guy, but she did. And who knew that kid would grow up to be the first motherfucking winner of Top Chef World or whatever the fuck that's not from a big city? I'd like to thank small cities everywhere, okay? I don't give a fuck where you're from. You could be me. But unfortunately, you're not me. Only I'm me. So fuck off, you big city fucks.
And I gotta say, I dedicate this to a very special pot of beans my mom was making the time that my dad broke a jar of chow chow on his foot and the glass actually slit his ankle and we had to go to the emergency room before he bled out to death. Well, it took 12 hours and we came back. The beans were reduced down to just like a burnt mush. And we decided that's going to be our family signature meal. So thank you, Ma, for making those beans.
And now, ending number 3. The winner of Top Chef Most Important Food Show. What is even Food Network? What is that? Is anything on there edible? I doubt it. Don't think so. It's a Project Runway of food. The most fuck you, Billy. Katie Lee Joel, by the way, wherever you are. Katie Lee Joel Osment. You suck. I came on in a fur bikini, and I'm still waiting 20 years later, you dumpy. The winner is Gabri.
Gabri, you are top cry person. Congratulations. How does it feel? Would you like to use your contactless MasterCard to wipe away the water streaming down your cheeks? It's like, oh, well, I have to say, I came in here like a timid mouse, and I left here like a giant elephant. Elephants are afraid of mice. Ah!
I want to just say I'm not going to roar like a tiger now. The most humble tiger you've ever seen. A tiger, does the tiger need courage? Or is that a lion? I forget. But anyway, I will continue down the yellow brick road of success and thank each brick because bricks are very humble. And I would just like to say thank you, chocolate tamales. And Gail's like, well, I would like to say thank you to chocolate tamales too. God, I love a chocolate tamale now. Never knew how much I loved it. Congratulations, Gabri.
Congratulations, and as this is my final episode with the Poors, I just want to give a shout out to my dear friends, Ali Wong, Lupito Nyong'o, Machiko Kakutani, David Chang, Lena Waithe, Angela Merkel, and Alexander Skarsgård. Thank you so much.
And just one last message to somebody named Taylor Swift. Please stop calling me. You're not famous enough for me. All right, chefs, thank you so much for being a part of this season. Bye, stupids. I'm never coming back again.
I'm going to go find out what is chop suey. Bye.
Now, we don't know what we're going to do about this Padma leaving the show.
Cry.
My
Cry for
idea
hours
is
on
to
end.
just pretend that she never left and keep her in judging of the show and just keep her as a cast member in our head. And whoever the new host is, just completely ignore them like they don't exist. That's my personal idea, but I'm not really sure what we're going to do.
We're going to figure it out, but Luckily, we have about 9 months to cross that bridge. But yeah, I'm really bummed about this. But that being said, this was an absolutely amazing season, and all the chefs were super talented. And of the three, I'm rooting for Sarah, of course, but I would be happy with any of them because they're all great chefs, and I just love them all.
I'm going to guess that they're giving it to Buddha. Begrudgingly going to give it to Buddha. I wouldn't be mad if Sarah won. You know, I love all of them, and I really did feel things in this. I cried a couple of times because it's just like it's like they're getting there. They're getting their dreams. You know what I mean? It was just so sweet. Everybody was so good on the season. I love the season. It's a great show. Thank you, audience, for being with us. This is like one of our like niche things that we recap and cover, and we love that you guys are with us here all the time. So another ending of another season. So it's like another speech, you know. Thank you guys for being here.
It's so wonderful. And the final disclaimer of the season: we love Gail Simmons, and she's beautiful and wonderful, and she's not the monster that we make her out to be. It's a joke.
And for whoever tries to cancel us after one of these damn videos, someone please have the foresight to cut that out and post it, because we are only kidding. We love Gail. We just have fun with the idea.
There are some reviews on iTunes. I happen to look at the iTunes reviews. They're like, love the podcast. Don't know why there's so much shaming of Gail Simmons.
Well, listen, our goal is to get ratings as low as Schwartz and Sandy's by the end of these Top Chef seasons, and we'll get there. We will eventually get there. But guys, thank you so much for being here. We will talk to you next season. For those of you who only listen to this, the rest of you get the hell over to Patreon and everywhere else. We'll see you later.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors.
Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
She's never scary. It's the Green Fairy.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie, she's always supplying. It's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
You're never alone with Lacey Monteleone.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg. Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters. Nancy Cease and Desisto.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.